Thanks for teachers that are going out there too. Aren't y'all fighting? What's been a privilege just to watch how God is brought men into our fellowship. You know, we started several years ago with probably about 4 men in this church. Yeah, that's all. And none of them are here, but anyway, there's probably more. And God's just really, that was one of my prayers. God, send me some men that are after your heart. Send me some men that aren't a bunch of wussies, that would stand their ground and be men of God and men of valor. And God has done that. I'm so grateful to be called your pastor to these men. And thank you so much. Man. Somebody told me this week that they just really appreciate the men of this church. And I cleared look, this person approached me and said, man, these men that you got, man. And so I said, well, there's a lot of prayer behind that. So, hey guys, we always, ladies, y'all always get a rose on Mother's Day, but, I give guys pocket knives, And so if your guy's not allowed to have a pocket knife because they injure themselves, I understand it, so no one have it. So we also got them something they put in their pocket. It's rounded so nobody will bleed. So if your husband, Mark Bear, if they hurt themselves with sharp objects, then we have something just to put in your pocket. It's interesting, Joe has a coin in his pocket right now that he got about, 5 years ago?
Well, I've got 2 of them.
You got 2 of them now? Well, don't take that up to 3, but anyway, so you can have both of them, I don't really care. So there's some scripture verses here, and just to say, hey man, we love you, and I love you, thank you so much for being part of this. So I'm not going to pass those out because, well, you've seen your husbands and fathers. So me, if you'd stand, I would just pray over you, okay? And would you just stand in this place? And you may be a young man here, you may not be a father, but I want all the men just to stand, okay? Let's do that, please. Father God, what a great honor that is just to look out, and this place is full of men. Full of men that love you. And there's some men in the other room too that are ministering over there to those in that other room. Lord, I thank you for the men that you placed in this place of service. Thank you that they have willing hearts. Thank you for these men that we've been on retreats together. They've poured out their hearts and their struggles, and we've shared those burdens with one another. Thank you for men that have gone through struggles and called other men to help them out in accountability and strength. Thank you for men that have stood in the gap for this fellowship and continue to do that. Lord, I thank you that you bless these men. Thank you, we honor them today. We look to you for guidance in all things, but Father, we thank you for these men that lead in your kingdom work. And I am honored to be their pastor. Lord, we thank you. Praise you in Jesus' name. And all the ladies said? Amen. There we go. We are doing some spiritual warfare, and we're going to be talking about that this morning. And so I'm glad you're here this morning. It's a difficult morning, but we're going to be looking at the Word of God and addressing those things. How many of y'all realize that sound is a powerful force? Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, sound is just this powerful force. Several years ago, I went to my brother's house, and he said, I want you to listen to this. And he had a cassette tape. How many of y'all remember cassette tapes? Boy, y'all are old. How about 8-track tapes? Yeah. How many of y'all still have 8-track tapes? I do too. Anyway, cassette tapes, cassette tapes. And so my brother played it. And I listened to it as a woman speaking. Finally, I realized it was my mom's voice. She died at 46. I hadn't heard my mom's voice in probably, I couldn't even tell you, 20, 30 years maybe, at least that long. And I listened to it, and boy, I was like, of course, my mom's voice. How many want to hear your dad's voice, your mom's voice again? Yeah, that was just most of the time. So just their voices, there's just a strength in that, and a resoundingness here. And sometimes even with nature, it's just you can hear nature sometimes. A hurling wind will come across you. What's that? You hear lightning or thunder. You don't hear lightning. That was silly. But you hear thunder, and you go, man, a storm's brewing. So it kind of gets our attention when we hear all these things. And by the way, God used sound too, didn't He? I mean, what about the creation? When He created all this universe, really, God could have just said, you know what, I'm just going to put in my thought, and my thoughts are, His action there. And God just said, I thought about the creation, I put that in place there, and it could have been said, right? But God did not do just His thought. He used what? Sound. And He spoke it. So there's a lot of things. We're going to look at this morning. It's going to be the title of Spiritual Warfare, the Power of Sound. I've never preached on this too, by the way. So it's going to be kind of a little different. It's going to be a little twist here. And we'll try to land this thing here. So we're going to be talking about this morning, spiritual warfare, the power of sound. Anybody heard a sermon like that before? Okay, yeah. Well, today you have, so you can't say that anymore after today. I read a book one time, and it said this. I thought it was very, very interesting. It said that hearing is a primary warning signal in our brain cells. It's through hearing. Now, a lot of times we think that if we see something, it's more alarming to us, but according to scientists who study the brain cell, they've said this, that it's in the liberal region that we hear sound. And it's not in the liberal region that we hear sound, because in the liberal region where we hear sound, it's rational thinking. So when we see something, it comes in the liberal region of our brain cells, which means it's rational. But in the hearing aspect, it's in the cortex of that. And basically what that's saying is that in our brain cells, what God designed us to be, is that when we hear something, an alarm system kind of goes off in us, right? When my mother said, Gary Don, that alarm system went off. When she used my middle name, you kind of hear what I'm saying. So we respond by sound. And what happens is, it's not this rational thinking that we get a hold of, but it's also this impulsiveness. And when we hear something, immediately we're going to respond despite rationale. But sound has an important part in our brain cells. And it causes us to be alarmed when we hear something. And that's why the Bible is very clear to say you better be careful what you speak, right? Because you can't take that back. When you've been mad at a child and you've lashed out to him with words, what happened? You can't take that back. There's a lot of harm. Whether you're an adult or whether you're a small child, it still hurts us when our parents say hurtful things, because that sound is alarming to us, and we just kind of enter in that. We tell you, Satan knows this, doesn't he? You know where Satan is right now? The Bible says he stands before God 24/7, accusing the brethren. He uses words, he uses sound all the time. Said, oh, he's a sorry God. Remember the story about Job? You see that conversation with God and Satan himself. And what does he do? He's accusing. Oh, no. The reason Job is a good guy is because you don't ever do anything to him. Do something really bad, and we'll just see, right? See, he's the what? Accuser of the brethren. What does he do? He uses sound. He knows that. And that's how he attacks you. That's how he attacks me. Do you understand that? Y'all getting this yet? Okay. So here's what I want to teach this morning. I want to teach that God uses sound. He uses our words, He uses our shout, He uses music, He uses the wind, He uses earthquake, He uses noise to do spiritual warfare. And here's my point. When we learn and practice to shout at the enemy's attack, do you know what happens? The attacker becomes the attackee. I mean, you don't like that. So we begin to shout at Satan, you get his attention. And so the attacker, who's always accusing you, as we begin to shout at him the Word of God and the principles of God's teaching, guess what happens? He becomes attacked himself. The attacker becomes the attackee. How many of y'all would like that in your life today? You're tired of just hearing the attack, the sound of Satan. It's time we rise up and exercise our God-given ability to speak into that and rebuke that and to make a sound so that he is rebuked. You look at Scripture, it's all in there, church. It's all in there. So we're going to go to Joshua chapter 6. You got your Bible. You've opened up to the middle, take a left, and you're going to go over to Joshua, okay? Joshua chapter 6. Real important that you turn there. I want to show you one Scripture verse. I want you to highlight it. It's a familiar verse. You know it. Joshua chapter 6. Yeah. Let me kind of give you some background here, okay? So we're just going to pick out one verse. Have y'all ever heard the story about Joshua and Jericho? That's all? Have you? Okay. Joshua and Jericho. Well, let me kind of set this up. You know, Moses is not in the promised land. He's on how to go. Who's the leader? Come on, church. Joshua's the leader. Joshua's the leader. He's appointed. Read chapter 21, or verse 1. Chapter 1, Joshua 3 times said, don't be afraid, because this is going to be a battle. Fear causes you to run from the battle. You understand that? So he said, don't be afraid, don't be afraid. People said, Joshua will follow you, but don't be afraid. They get that. And so now we find in Joshua chapter 6, we see the first battle. So here they're in the promised land. Now you think sometimes that going to the promised land, there shouldn't be battles, right? When you became a Christian, you're probably told, unfortunately, that once you become a Christian, then life is great, right? Not that way. Completely the opposite. We love the promises of God, but one of the promises of God is you're going to go through various trials and tribulations. Do you understand that? Jesus told his disciples over and over and over. He said, listen guys, don't be in the world, don't be participants of that. I know you're going to be of the world, but you're in the world. But guess what? In the world, you're going to have what? You're going to go through tribulation. That's a promise of God you're going to go through. And so here, God's people who've been in the wilderness and all those that didn't buy into that God can win these battles, they died out there. And now this new remnant of God's people are about to go in there, and Joshua's leading them, and they're about to face their first battle. This is the first battle that they're going to occur. There's going to be a lot of battles, and you can read this in Joshua, but this is the first one, and it's the city of Jericho that they're facing. So you kind of got the background here? So God's preparing them. This is the first battle, and here's what he says. I want you to take 7 priests with 7 trumpets, and here's what you're going to do. Gather all the people, and y'all are just going to do what? Come on, church. They're going to march around the walls of Jericho, and you're going to keep doing that. And then at one point, you're going to give them a sign. And you're going to give them a sign. I want you to shout and say, the battle belongs to the Lord. And I'll tell you when to do that, and it's going to be on the 7th day. So here's what's happened. The story is this. It's for 6 days they've done this. They get up every morning, they line up, and they start this journey. Probably about an hour and a half. Probably more than that because there's so many people. They encompass the city so much that the Bible says that no one could come into Jericho, no one could go out of Jericho. There were that many people around the city, right? And so they began to march around this city. You know the story. And so they began to march around the first day, the second day, the third day, the fourth day. And we see this. And what's happening is that the priests are leading the way. There's 7 priests. And they got God with them. Because the Bible says that they're to take the Ark of the Covenant. The Ark of the Covenant is the manifested presence of God on earth. Alright? You got that? You got to get this because we're going to go somewhere with that at the end of this, okay? So the Bible says when they created the Ark of the Covenant, God said, after you create that, I will meet you right there at the Ark of the Covenant in the Day of Atonement. So you with me so far? So the Ark of the Covenant is God's manifested presence on this earth, right? Yeah? Yeah. Okay. And so they took the Ark of the Covenant, they took God, they took God's presence, they marched around this for 6 days. And then finally, the 7th day, around, they blew the trumpets, they're blowing the trumpets the whole time during this deal, and that's the 5th day. Now, I brought something here. How many of y'all know what this is? Shofar. What? So far what? Nobody knows this. Okay, so far nobody knows what God's a shofar. So, let me tell you a little bit about this whole thing, because this is the trumpet that was used here, okay? And tell you, we've had this for years at our house, haven't we? Yep. Every kid, I'm not putting my mouth in because every kid has blown this over and over. Some of it tastes like Kool-Aid. I didn't blow it this morning. But I was going to blow that thing. It tastes like Kool-Aid because all my kids are sucked on this thing. Oh, let me wipe that off. And so, in September, We celebrate New Year's on January 1st. Jewish tradition is September. That is the beginning of the Jewish holiday. And during that Jewish holiday, there's a thing called the Feast of the Trumpets. And during the Feast of the Trumpet, they blow the shofar, and it's a time for repentance. In fact, you see the curvature of this. It's also represented the twisting, man's sin. Not leading a straight line, but a twisted line, being twisted. So this kind of represents the twisted. So what this is called during the week of the trumpet, the Feast of the Trumpets, they would blow this, and it was a time of repentance, time of reflection about repentance. And then the accumulation of that was the Day of Atonement. And that was the day they blow the trumpet and people would repent, and that was that. It's kind of interesting, though, that God really never indicated that the shofar was a representation of repentance. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. It was calling people unto God and a time for repentance. But God really never said, I want you to take the shofar, and it's going to be a symbol of repentance. But what really God says over and over, I want to show you this, that the shofar was a symbol of God's mighty presence, His power, His authority, and the establishment of His kingdom. Establishment of His presence more than it was repentance. They use it for that. But in the Word of God, it's really more about His power, His presence, and we're doing that. Let me show you kind of a couple examples, okay? In Exodus chapter 19, the shofar was blown on Mount Sinai. We don't know who blew it. I believe it was an angel of God who blew that. And what the people did was a response of the people. They were afraid. They said, Moses, don't quit talking to God, because the shofar is blown and we know we talk to God. We're so afraid because of God's presence, and His words are mighty. His power is awesome, and they were afraid. We also see this in Revelation chapter 1. Is that when John was caught up in the third heaven, you remember that story? When he's caught up there, he fell as if he was dead. And what the Bible says, I think verse 19 there, it says that the trumpet was sounded, and Jesus stands up, He says, I am the Alpha, and I am the Omega, I'm the beginning, and I'm also the end. And the trumpet was sounded. How many of y'all know in the last day, before what? Resurrection. How many of y'all looking forward to resurrection day, huh? You know? When Jesus comes back, here's what it says here. In 1 Thessalonians 4:16, it says, the Lord shall descend. And how's He going to descend? With the blast of what? Blast of the trumpet. And it also says in 1 Thessalonians, in 1 Corinthians chapter 5, 15, verse 51, says, behold, I will tell you a mystery. We shall all not sleep. But we will be in a dangerous situation. It says in a twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet. But this will be the last time the trumpet is sounded. For when the trumpet sounds, the dead in Christ will be raised, and they will be made imperishable, and all will be changed. All will be changed when that last trumpet. What does that symbolize? When that last trumpet is sounded, it establishes God's kingdom, God's power, His authority, and His perfect will be done. All right? So that's how we embrace this sound of the trumpet as we look at this story, okay? Y'all there yet? Okay. Look at that. Page 1. I only have 3 pages today. Here's what we're going to do. We talk about sound doctrine, don't we? And I understand where we're going to go with this. And so I want to teach you some sound doctrine. I know you're here today because you want to hear truth, right? Yes. You want to hear good doctrine. When I came to this church, I did not know what Christian denomination really was. You know, I knew Baptist because I was that. And then I knew non-Baptist because I was that. And so in Baptist we have doctrine, and in non-Baptist everybody did what they wanted to do, you know, and that didn't work for me. So when I came here, I had to study what is the Christian denomination? And even though we're not a part of that, even though this church really wasn't a part of that, but I wanted to understand that. What I discovered was it was an Americanized church. It wanted to kind of embrace all denominations, kind of bring anybody. And that sounds good, doesn't it? I mean, that's non-denominational, right? Okay, whatever. And so it's non-denominational, but what the Christians said, we're going to be just a melting pot and so that people from all denominations can come to the Christian church. And that was the thought behind the movement of the Christian denomination. Well, I looked at that and I said, that sounds really good, but you've got to have sound doctrine, right? You've got to be firm in your doctrine. So when I came here, we began to establish doctrine principles based on the Word of God. And that's why when you find, if you have a Welcome Wimberley Christian Church, you look on the back and you see the things that we believe, that's sound doctrine. You understand that now? Let me tell you what. There's not much of that going on in today's churches. Sound doctrine. In fact, the Bible says it this way, found in 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 3. I think I have a scripture verse. I don't know the reference yet. Anyway, it says this, for a time will come, and we're in that time, when people will not endure sound doctrine. In other words, sound doctrine isn't going to sound very good to them. Sound doctrine just says, well, that's too hard. You talk about repentance and can I just kind of get over it? And so sound doctrine will not be a part of the thoughts that people want to hear. And so when people run from sound doctrine, where do they go to? But here's what it says, the rest of that verse says, but they will be after their own lust, and they will turn to teachers having itching ears, and they will turn their ears from truth. So sound doctrine is not very popular because it doesn't really build big churches. So to scratch people's ears to make them feel good, then we kind of water it down. Y'all understand what I'm saying here? Okay. Y'all are going to have me preach that a little bit better. Y'all understand what I'm saying here?
Yes.
Yes.
Two of y'all put your church faces on today, and I just don't see anything out there, okay? So let it go this morning. Because if you want to hear something, you go to whatever, because it's all out there, right? But sound doctrine means you're going to be called to repentance every time. Because that's God's desire for us to be restored unto Him. So here's what we're going to do. 4. I'm not going to get to all of them today. I'm not going to try to. Okay? We'll finish the rest next Sunday. We're going to look at 4 sound doctrines and 4 sound advice. 4 sound doctrines and 4 sound advice. Sound can mean 2 things. It can be a foundation, a strong foundation of truth, right? But also, what I'm going to build on that's kind of a twist here, kind of fun. But I'm also going to talk about sound, noise, how we make our noise, because we're going to be held accountable. What comes out of our mouth, how we proclaim, how we clap, how we shout. We're going to be held accountable. So we're going to talk about sound, strong doctrine, but we're also going to talk about some sound noise doctrine too. I'm going to give you 4 advice, okay? Y'all understand what I just said to you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. First of all, sound doctrine, number 1. Here it is. Sound precedes victory. Sound precedes the victory. Think about this. For 6 days they marched around the walls. Now get the picture here, okay? Today we're just going to look at this story, then we're going to look at another story. But for 6 days, can you imagine them walking around that fortified city? And you got music going on. I mean, they had music to dance to, They had the chauffeurs playing and the music, the trumpets were going, so that was going on there. So they had a little bit of noise going here, but here's what they were doing. For 6 days they marched around it. And then on the 7th day, what happened? They shouted, for the Lord has given us this city. Now let me tell you what didn't happen here. It wasn't the marching that caused the walls to fall, was it? Because they've been doing that, right? It wasn't an earthquake that came. And God has used earthquakes, and He can use earthquakes. We see that over and over. God can use some natural forces of wind and hail and storm and tornadoes and hurricane. God can use all that because it's all under control, right? But God didn't use it that way. God didn't use His presence because His manifested presence was there. God didn't use that. God didn't use the priest and their authority over that, take charge of it. He didn't use any of those things. He didn't use the marching. He didn't use the trumpets. He didn't use any earthquakes. He didn't use that. But what did God use to bring the walls down, church? Sound. That's right, sound. They shouted. Use the words. The shouted leads to the Lord. I like that. Throughout the Bible, we see a lot of things where when God speaks, His power. We got that, right? When God speaks, something happens, right? Oh, look, I love that. We see that all through the Bible. God spoke creation. Boom, it happens. Just because His word But not in this case. And this is where we're going with this. Listen very closely. Because most of the time we want God to say something here, and a lot of times He's waiting us to speak. It's good. Sometimes, I just want God to speak, and I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to sit here. Wait till God speaks. God's got to speak, and there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes we need to move in obedience and speak into that thing. And this is the lesson we're going to learn here. All right? This is the lesson we're going to try to understand this. A lot of times that it's not that timing when God speaks, but the sound of God's people being obedient to what the Lord says. I mean, we can see this over and over. King Jehoshaphat, I think I mentioned that last time. You know, God says, the armies are around you. All those ites are around you. The Amorites, the Midianites, and all these ites were around them. And they were completely surrounded and said, I've got this, but here's what I want you to do. I want you to sing the praise singers first. I'll tell you that story. King Jehoshaphat, got the praise singers. They said, what are you going to do? Well, y'all are going to win the battle for us here. You're going to start singing. Can you imagine those guys starting out, not me, all the praise singers said, no, I didn't bring my guitar today. I'm not a praise singer today because, I'm not doing that. My tambourine, I left it at home, or McDonald's, I don't know where it is. And so, all of a sudden, there's little shoes, but they went forward, and what did God do? When they started singing what? God sent an ambush. God sent an ambush. So a lot of times we see this, that God really responds to our praise. What about the 10 lepers? That's a story you know. Remember 10 lepers that were healed by God? And God said, okay, y'all go back and all this. And so all of them left, right? Except what? One came back and what? Began to sound off about his miracle. And he came back and he said, man, thank you. And Jesus, knowing this, watch this. He said, where's the other 9 that had a sound, that should have had a sound of praise? Where are they at? So, I don't know. Look at him in the eyes, because you sounded off. You are made what, church? You get the whole thing. Not just the physical, but the whole thing. Did y'all hear the importance of sound? Are y'all enough illustrations there? Okay. So over and over, we see this, and I think maybe your defeat or your ill circumstances need some godly sound. Maybe some things you're facing this morning, you just need to God. Next time you have to face some high walls in your life, maybe the right response is to shout with a shout of victory, a voice of triumph over that, and begin to initiate that and just speak that. Now let me give you some sound advice concerning this sound bite. It says, here's some sound advice. Learn that your situation will line up with your shout. Okay? Let me explain that. Let's go to the next one. In other words, your sound isn't supposed to match your situation. Your sound is supposed to match the promises and the capabilities of your sound. I like that. I'm the only one in this room, but I like that one. Here's what we do a lot of times. We look at the situation, oh my gosh. Oh, there's no land climb on that wall. That's not the sound we're to make. We're to make the sound, not of our situation, but we're to make the sound of our Lord's capabilities and promises that we find in His Word. Amen? And that's how we're to respond. And I can't understand this thing called life. I can't understand these circumstances in life. But how do we respond to that? We respond by what do you say, God? And we're going to stand on the Word of God and the promises that He gives. And that's exactly what we see in this. Now, wait a minute, Brother Gary, pastor, friend. You've always taught us that we don't believe in naming and claiming. That's right. So I'm not about to tell you, because there's 80, 90 of it's in the scripture. If I say, hey, all you got to do is shout at your problem, and man, God's going to take care of it. I'm not saying that. You understand? Because you know what's going to happen? You're going to start shouting, and you say, man, God, you promised that, and you're going to go home to a messy kitchen, ladies. You're going to shout it, and you're going to go home. You're going to be mad at me because I said, hey, if we shout it, if we sound off at it, He said it would be victory, and you're going to go home to that problem, that heated fellowship that you had with your spouse earlier that you didn't quite get over when you got to church tomorrow, right? You still got that. You got some snotty-nosed kids or grandkids that are just kind of giving you a hard time. You're still going to have those problems for financial or some just some things going on, right? You're still going to have that. So what's the answer here? The answer to this is that rather than speaking and enhancing and encouraging that wall, that massive, impermeable wall in your life, that problem that's been there, rather than speaking to that, encouraging that, what you do is you speak the Word of God. What do you say about that? What do you say about how I perceive that? And when you begin to do that, guess what? I'm telling you, sound precedes victory. And you may still have that problem there, but your perception of that changes. So I'm going to end this with that thought there. So sound is to match God's promise. Sound is to match His capabilities. And we're to be obedient to that and to trust Him as we speak to Him. Y'all kind of got that? So let me tell you. Sound precedes your victory. How are you doing? How are you speaking? Every time somebody mentions that issue, that problem, you're like, oh yeah. I've dealt with that for 5 years. You say, you know what, you love me, you promised me, your presence in me. You told me that any temptation that comes my way, that you're going to guard my heart, and you're going to speak the promises of God in there. You just, oh yeah, that's too good. I'm going to walk away. I'm going to turn away. I won't do that anymore. Number 2. Sound doctrine. Here it is. Sound must not be based on your sight. Sound must not be based on your sight. Think about that. For 6 days, what did they do? They're walking around this massive. You know how big that was? Scholars tell us, I've read several different books on this. I thought, how big is that wall? And some scholars, and this is the most exaggerated one, but they say, first of all, there was a 46-foot hill incline where Jericho was built on. So 46 feet, yeah, that's probably about 20 feet. So times 2 plus 6 feet, okay? 26 was a mound, kind of an incline here, and then it leveled off to this 20-foot, 26-foot, some people say, 26-foot massive wall. And on top, the thickness of that was 6 feet, enough to drive a chariot on top of that wall. Now, are you all getting the picture now? So 46 feet, you had to walk up this incline, even get to the base of that wall, and that's another anywhere from 22 to 26 more feet. Do you see the massiveness of what's going on here? And so every day for 6 days, they're walking around and they're walking like this, you know. I bet they came home, man, my neck hurts when I'm there. I've been looking at that big wall that you know, God says we're going to have to conquer here. Now get also the story here. See, we see the rest of the story, right? We kind of cheat here. We go, well, we don't sell the day. What's their big deal? They need to man up here and keep marching because we know in 7 days. We see the rest of the story. But every day they didn't know this. Joshua knew the end of the story, but they didn't. So give them a break here. So every day they're looking at this massive wall. No way to permeate that wall in their own strength. You find yourself there. I knew where we're going with this. So, you walk around this. Big walls only mean there must be a big shout that has to pursue is what I'm thinking. You know, it doesn't matter. See, Joshua, it didn't matter that big wall. See, he saw the wall, but he saw through it. He saw through it. He saw the victory. He saw the promises of God. And I like that. And he knew God would handle it. You know, Paul and Silas, I like this story. You know, Paul and Silas, they were in jail, Acts chapter 16, Acts chapter 16. Paul and Silas are locked up in jail. They've been falsely accused. They're locked up in jail. They've been beaten. And they've been chained. And they've done nothing wrong, right? So we find them there. And it says in the midnight, in other words, in the darkest point of night, they begin to what? They begin to sing. They begin to what? Give some noise, give some sound to that darkness of their sleep. You know what happened, don't you? Okay? Yeah, that's right. tell you, some of us, we look at Paul, we say, what a great man of faith his was. His faith got him out of all this. Sometimes we say this, don't we? No, hang on. What is the opposite of faith? What is it? What? Fear. Doubt? Who said that? A lot of us think that. I mean, the opposite of faith is doubt. Let me tell you what the opposite of faith is. Sight. Sight. It's not doubt, because we all have doubts, don't we? I mean, that's not my issue. Yeah? It's sight. Doesn't that what the Scripture says? For we walk not by what? Sight. We walk by what? So we've lost this perspective here. We get caught up in the doubt thing, but it's our sight that we're really dealing with our faith with this on those down here. And so we have to see through this, see? We have to see through this, because what comes against us is that is too big of a wall for us to handle. And we just stop ourselves and we can't do this. It's by our sight that causes us to back off from that. And it shuts our mouth up. It just shuts us up. Let me give you some sound advice with this, okay? All right? Don't let your complaining, don't flash that. Oh, I just can't do it. Oh, I just miss out every one day. Oh, it's too big. I've been doing it for 10 years, 5 years. Last week, I'm facing something next week. Don't let your complaining, your flesh sounds get in the way of your praising God, your spiritual silence. In other words, what's this now? Here, I love this. In other words, don't let what's wrong with you or your circumstance keep you from worshiping what right about God. You hear that? And that's what happens many times. We just focus in on that problem. Our side is just look at me. I got all these problems. You say, "What? Not now. I'm focusing on my problems." You know, would you leave me alone? I'm going to handle this myself. And we just focus and we focus. And we begin to speak to that problem. We begin to emphasize that, and we never focus in on worshiping about what's right about God. Y'all hear that? We just don't. That causes us problems. That causes defeat. That's that. Paul in that midnight situation. What's this? Midnight accepted. That's kind of interesting, the details of that new story there in Acts chapter 16. The darkest moment of the night is what it's saying. And by the way, it says later when they were released, they had to bring some lights in there. So there was no light in that jail cell. The very darkest period of that moment. No more sunlight. Hopeless. They're chained. They're beaten. They're broken. All hope is gone. And they began to speak with sound who God is and what's right about Him. Not about what's wrong about the situation. They speak about what is right about God. Did you hear that one more time? They didn't speak about what's wrong about what their life is. They spoke about what is right about God. And they began to worship. What's this? If I had, what's this? Look up here. If I had a tiny minute light up here, we shut all the lights off and we close the windows up there and it's completely pitch black. If I had a tiny light up here, let's just say I had it right now, I begin to shine it. Some of y'all can see it, maybe if I shine it right directly at you, it's an LED especially. If I'm talking about just a regular old, light, you couldn't see very good. If we shut all the lights off and I had that tiny light once again, you would see it more clearly. What's this? We can see light when the backdrop is pitch black. We can see God's light in our life when everything is at its darkest. We have clarity more. We see Him more. We seek after Him more, don't we? You ever been just up against the wall and I got to find scripture verse today, you know what I'm saying? We need light to speak in that. We can see the light better when there's a backdrop of absolute darkness. And that is true in what we go through. Some of y'all got that, some of you didn't get that. Just went like this, but that's okay. Chew on it just a little bit. Because we get so frustrated, why we're going through this, and there's no light here. And I promise you this, we can see light better when it's absolutely completely dark. Do y'all hear that? Have I said that enough to you? Is it getting down into your spirit here? I tell you what, you'll chew on that, it'll change your way that you handle your problems. Don't complain. Give a shout out to God with the voice of triumph. Remember that David claimed you don't speak it because you want it. You speak it because God said it. Amen? Once you step out of that, you're on your own, buddy. Can't help you there. Speak because God says it. And that's exactly what they did. We see this. We're going to continue this next week. Show a little bit more. One more. I'm going to stop. Sound doctrine. Sound encourages others. Sound encourages others. You know what, this isn't about you half the time. It's about others around you. You know, we've got to get over this. You know? Joshua, think about that. I love this. You know, think about what happened here. They've been marching for what? 6 days. Every day, same thing. You know, just going around the circle thing. And finally, Joshua gives them the word on that day. He said, okay, let's do this. Shout, for the city belongs to the Lord. Now, y'all ever been to a football game and they do the wave thing? You know, like this, you know, that goes around, you know, he does that. This is what I imagine here, and I was just trying to project this thing. I imagine that once, you know, because you know, the city was probably about 7 acres is all, you know, so it wasn't that big way around, you know, but it took them about an hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours to probably walk around that thing. But can you imagine when Joshua's over here and the rest of them are over there, so there encompasses this whole thing. So it took them a while. So as they began to shout, Joshua says, it's time to shout. So they start shouting. So they shout. You know, you hear that kind of wave deal? And all of the time they got around, they heard the other shout, so they start shouting. And then they heard the rest of them shout, so they got louder and louder and louder. That's what I think in my Holy Sanctified Imagination happened during that time. It got louder and louder and louder and louder as it made it around that thing. You know, just got loud, just like in a, you know, going to Super Bowl, you hear, That's what man, music kind of does that to us. You ever hear a song? You know? I saw Frank and Billy Mann Friday night singing Jeremiah Was a Bullfrog. What is that about? I don't understand that song. Jeremiah was a bullfrog. He was a what? I'll need help on that. I mean, we were listening to that music and we were, I know that song, I know that song. And then we got out there trying to sing, I don't know that song. You know, and we had such a good time. And guess what? Music just does that, doesn't it? Just a little bit of a song. Just, you know, doesn't that encourage you too? So it makes a song. I remember an old, you know, girlfriend in the 3rd grade, you know, she wears a yellow, you know, anyway. And in my house, you come to my house, I built a stream and I have a side backyard there. And I built a stream with a waterfall and a stream. You know why I did that? Because when I was a kid, I used to go to my grandmother's house in Arkansas, and they had a stream there, and just the sound of that, just good childhood memories. I built that thing, so I go out there and I put my feet. You know, I don't have any fish in there, so that's a good thing. But I put my feet in there, and I turn the waterfall on, and I listen to that, and it just what? That sound encourages me. Sound encourages. I like that. Let me tell you, let me ask you a question. What kind of sound are you giving out? Is your sound encouraging others, or when they see you coming in, I know what they're going to say. They're so discouraging, so negative, so down. What's your sound at? Where have you been sounding at? Encouraging? You're right. I love Acts chapter 7. Let's say 7. Actually, I'm going to change that. Acts chapter 2. I like Acts chapter 7. But I like Acts chapter 2. You know what happened? When God showed up, man, there's a great noise in church. I like noisy churches. That's why I'm saying here, I like noisy churches. I think we've been too quiet, by the way. It might be noisy in this church. Noise doesn't scare God. Noise scares you. Noise doesn't scare God at all. It scares Satan. The church gets loud. Do y'all understand that? Y'all are so afraid, aren't you now? Amen? Yeah. There we go. In Acts chapter 2, right now, I won't get that, but there's all kinds of language, some known, some are unknown. And man, there's a loud noise, and here's what happened. The people in the street go, whoa, 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 what's going on in that church? They're loud. They're making some noise in there, so people started coming in by the groves and groves. You see the greatest revival, one of the greatest revivals ever happened, because why? That church is noisy, and they're encouraging one another. That noise is louder, a lot of people coming in, and a lot of people get saved. Why are they get saved? Because why? It was noisy. There was a sound that drew them into that. Let me give you some sound advice about this one. Usually, make a covenant with others to release an encouraging sound because somebody needs it. Do you know that? It's not about you sometimes. Most of the time, it's really not about you. Think about it. Make a commitment today. I want everyone in this room. I would love for everyone in this room. I'll just say it this way. To make a commitment. I mean, I'm going to encourage people. Because there's somebody that's sitting to me in the church today that really needs my encouragement. And if I sing louder, if I sing stronger, if I speak to them words of encouragement, maybe I can reach somebody today. Even though I'm miserable inside, I'm just going to go for it. All right? Remember Paul and Silas? One more time. Paul and Silas, remember what they did? They started worshiping God, and guess what? It affected who? It affected those that were in jail with him. It affected the jailer himself. The jailer went home and said, you guys have my favorite about that. And so that noise, it started with the noise and the sound of praise, went from the jail into the guard's home, and then they show up in church, and it just overflows there. Do you see the effects of that, the encouragement that happened? That they decided in the darkest hour of their lives, they began just to sound off about the praises of God, and look what happened there. I mean, don't leave this church an absence of encouragement to others and leave somebody perhaps in that jail cell just because you're upset about it. Did y'all hear what I just said? There's somebody sitting that's just in a prison right now. And your encouragement of your sound, quit thinking of yourself and start speaking the praise of God, and you never know who you're going to reach. You understand that? So well, why are you so happy? Let me tell you about my life, what's going on in my life. I'm just focusing on what God says over my life, and that's my focus here. I got a lot of other things, but I'm going to focus on what God says about my life, not just the circumstance. Y'all hear that? And I promise you, God will bring people into your life over and over. Maybe at Ace, maybe here. Hopefully the church is bigger than just these four walls. We go out and we begin to learn that and principle that in our life. And I promise you, God will send people because why? He can trust you to speak encouragement over people's lives. And that's what we need to be doing in our community today. Amen? Amen. Well, so what are you looking at today? What's that big wall you've been staring at? And you say, oh my gosh. I've tread that 46 feet up to the top of this. I get to the top of this like Joshua and all the men did, 46 feet of trying to handle this problem. And then I get up there and there's a big, massive wall. I thought if I went 46 feet, sure the wall would fall. So what are you staring at in your life today? What are you facing today in your life? It's a spiritual battle. You understand that? So don't categorize any of these problems you have as being just a problem that maybe somebody's created on it. It's a spiritual battle. You understand that? When you became a follower of Jesus Christ, everything became a spiritual issue. You understand that? It's a spiritual battle that you're facing. And that's the only way you can handle these things. So what are you looking at? What are the impossible things? Right now, just think of it. I'm almost through. Hang with me. What are the impossible things you're dealing with in your life right now? What are the things you look at and say, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So here's what I thought. God, why 7 days did you make them do that? We know, I know what y'all said here. Listen to it. The number 6 means, it's a number for humanity, okay? And the 7th day is the number of completion. I got that. But that didn't really help me today. So I had to go a little deeper in that. So I said, God, why 7 days then? There's going to be something to that. And here's what I think. I think this is that the greatest challenges we face are the challenges of walking away. When we come up against wall and we walk away. Some of the greatest victories, on the other flip side of that, some of the greatest victories you'll ever experience is when you come to that wall and you realize and you pray and When you look at that wall still there, still there. The greatest victories are, you may turn away for a moment. Yeah, wait a minute, I'm going to take another look at that. What do you say about this? Because remember that sound? What? There's an instinct to run. Remember what I told you about that? See, that's about us. We run when we have these problems. We shy away from this. But I'm telling you, the greatest victory that you have is when you turn around one more time and go, wait a minute, I'm going to leave that again. Did y'all hear that? For 6 days they had to face that wall every day. That wall was still there. Do you know that? That's kind of what I think here. Walk away. This is grace possible. We go a little deeper. God was in that, right? Hey, right?
And
God took that journey with him for those 7 days, didn't he? I just told you the Ark of the Covenant. I thought about that. I thought, well, what's that about, God? When you show up, there's victory, right? He was there. Every day they showed up. He showed up. Here's what I thought of this. We often assume just because we got God's presence, He's going to fix everything. We assume that. Right? Oh, we got quiet there, didn't we? God shows up, He's going to fix it. God shows up, He's going to fix it. God was there, didn't fix it, according to them. But don't jump ahead to the end of the story, because we know the end of the story, right? Stay focused with those 6 days that they had to do. That's everything for a while. And we think this, we just assume this. We also assume, and sometimes God shows up and does it. We understand that, but not this case. And we're dealing with this story here. It's something to speak into our life differently than what we kind of think, because we get frustrated sometimes. We go to church, we get God's presence, we read more Bible, we pray more, and we go home to something, we go, it's still a mess. Disappointed, we want to walk away and turn away. But you know I'm speaking the truth, don't you? Here's the flip side. Sometimes God's presence isn't about fixing the circumstance. It's about fixing my perspective on how I handle a new way my problems. That's a mouthful, wasn't it? Could you say that one more time? I doubt it. Sometimes God's presence isn't about just fixing a problem. It's about fixing my perspective about the way that I handle a new way I can handle my problems. You know what I'm getting at? Get that in real quick. So God's presence really just, I'll show up, I'm going to handle it for you, but there is something about, isn't the fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much, right? Isn't the persistency that God calls us to be, the faithfulness that God calls us to be, isn't that the most important thing of obedience? And not that He just fixes our life, that we're persistently pursuing Him in His presence? Isn't that right, church? 7 days they walked around this thing. 6 days, nothing happened here. So it wasn't God's presence that fixed it, wasn't, but it was their perception, having God's presence, and their perception, how do I handle these new problems? How do I handle problems? I want to handle this problem a new way, because guess what? This is their first battle, and there's going to be a bunch of battles, and they better get this down. Same way in your life, and same way in my life. You understand that? Every day for 6 days. Here's another thought of that. There wasn't any results for 6 days, was there? See, we love to be motivated, don't we? We love to pray over something happens, or we've been trained that way, haven't we? Even with our kids. Now, if you clean your room, you're going to get an ice cream cone. In work. If you work really, really hard, you're going to get a bonus, right? So we operate on that. Watch this now, but I'm almost through. For 6 days, nothing. Not one single rock fell off that wall. Not one time. understand a little bit. I think, let's say, if I just kind of think, I bet during that process, all those people in Jerichoites were probably laughing at them, throwing trash talking, throwing garbage over at them. I mean, it was hard to do it. And for 6 days, there was absolutely no result in that. Not a miracle. Nothing. Here's what I think. Here's what I think. Listen to this. Maybe the greater work God was doing, listen, maybe that greater work that God was doing was not the miracle, the walls coming down. We know what happened. We all focus that the walls came down there. But maybe the greater work, what God was doing, was not the miracle. The greater work was in their lives. You say this to them. Here's the work. All the work is in your life. Don't focus on the outcome. Focus on obedience. Don't focus on God, you take that wall down, but focus on it took them 7 times around God's working that. I bet some of them said, I got a headache today. I don't think I'm going to walk. I walked 3 days in a row. You know what I'm saying? Do you hear what I'm saying? We're going to address this next week. Wherever man stood in their place. 300 of them. So I don't think I'm going to do that today. I'm tired today. Well, nothing happened yesterday. I'm not doing it again. I think I'm just messing with their brains. Yeah? All that could have happened. But notice this. What God was working in them, because they had a big task. They were going to compile a lot of battles. Do you understand that? And so are you and so am I. They're going to follow us. And so God was working in this thing that don't worry about the outcome. Let me tell you, don't worry. You understand this? God's got the outcome anyway, right? Look at it. Does God have the outcome in our lives? Yes. Does God win this thing, church? Yes. God's got this thing. So the outcome, God's got it. What He's looking for us is what? Obedience. That's it. Obedience. Obedience. So focus on obedience. Outcome, it's sure nice to get a victory. We focus on obedience. So let me just say, I need to stop here because I'm not halfway through this message. Here's warfare, what I'm saying. Sam's you've got to initiate this. God's not going to get you in the headlock and make squeeze some noise out of it. You have to be obedient to that. You don't fabricate something that sounds good, that you want something, but you listen to the Word of God. You communicate the Word of God. Second of all, you're not bound by sight. Do you understand that? You're not bound by sight. You're not bound by sight. Thirdly, encourage others. I want you to do one more thing. I'm going to pray. I want you to look to somebody. I want you to say, I need your sound today. I need for you to encourage today. I depend on your sound. I want you to look to somebody. Make a commitment today. Just go ahead and do it right now. I need your sound today. I need for your encouragement today. I need to hear from you, just, and I'm going to be faithful to do that. Just make a commitment. Just say, I'm making a commitment. I'll silence my words. I'll be encouraging to you. I didn't hurt anybody. Did you make it hurt? Chuck, nobody said that to you. Jack, brother? Well, I make a commitment to you to encourage you. That my words will bring encouragement to you and strength to you. I'm going to make a commitment there. See, that didn't hurt him, did it? That pretty good, didn't it?
I'm not even saying that.
And that's what the churches do. Then the Bible says that we're to be a part of the ministry of reconciliation, right? Encouragement. Also says we'll get together, we encourage one another. How do we do that? Sound encouragement. Well, keep holding their hands, pray to Father, for your word, for the Father, we love you. We thank you. Lord, we want to sound the trumpet that you're in charge over everything. We thank you for your grace and your mercy. Thank you for the strong word today that we're to be in this careful. We'll be held accountable for every word that comes out of our mouth. Forgive us for our discouragement. Times we've walked away, Lord, would you turn us around and let us look at that one more time, see what you say about it. Give us the courage to turn around. We've run from those issues. We've backed off from those things. And help us today just to turn around. Look again and see what you see. See what you say about it. Help us to perceive a new perception. To have eyes produce our faith. Lord, it's been good to be in your house today. We thank you for this time. We ask this in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. If you're a believer in Christ, we invite you to our communion time.